So my name is Lukasz Stoczynski, and I'm head of business development at Mimic Finance. And today we're going to talk about AI and intents in DeFi, whether they're just buzzwords or there are significant improvements in how we operate in DeFi. So to start with, at Mimic, our mission is to provide simple and secure tools to enhance efficiency and automation in decentralized finance. So we've been operating since late 2021, and we've been working on custom DeFi automations for very specific use cases. We've been working with some major DeFi protocols, wallets, and apps to help them in automating different DeFi operations, mainly on the treasury management side, on a revenue consolidations. We've built a Mimic engine, so it's a set of 3 different pillars that allows us to enable our users to automate any DeFi operations. So the first one are tasks. So tasks are specifically designed on-chain activities. One task can only perform one type of activity. So for example, we can have a swapper, we can have a depositor, we can have a claimer, we can have a bridger. So basically for any particular on-chain activity, we have got a separate tasks. Those tasks can be protocol specific. So we can have a swapper with 1inch, we can have a swapper with Paraswap, and they're also composable. So we can connect them all together to, so they're activated one after another. So we can, for example, swap an asset and then automatically we can bridge that asset. And this could be a sequence that can be automated. So all those tasks are executed on a custom deployed ERC-4337 account, a smart wallet. So that wallet can gives us few different features. First of all, it can authorize a third party to create tasks and execute tasks on behalf of that account. So you can have someone else executing transactions on behalf of your smart account. You also have got a safeguards to protect the assets. So we can limit what sort of tasks can be performed or executed on this account. We can decide, like, for example, no one is able to withdraw money from this account. So if you authorize a third party to perform activities on your account, you can limit them. And the final piece of the puzzle are our relayer, is our relayer, our bot. So it's a custom built logic. It has got plenty of ifs in that bot. So that allows us a customization of what the activities can be performed on the smart account. Relayer understands the tasks, so it knows what tasks it is executing and how to sequence them. It executes transactions based on specific parameters. So you can set things like, I don't know, gas limit, slippage, minimum threshold of an asset. For example, you can say, swap this asset only if there's at least $1,000 worth of this asset in my wallet. You can set the time period. So you can say, swap it once a month or once a week or bridge it once a week. You can set all those custom parameters. And also our bot analyzes conditions for transaction executions and simulates before sending it on chain. So it will check, if the slippage can be less than 2%. If the slippage will get higher, the transaction will not get executed on chain. So how the automation works today at Mimic. So we onboard customers. The customers gives us their requirements. So they say, okay, we want to have our environment to perform swaps on those assets at this time periods. We want to bridge them. We want to lend them. We want to stake them. So they give us all the parameters that they want to set. And then our team is setting up the environment. We're deploying a custom ERC account for them. We plug in tasks. We plug in Relayer. It's it is a huge improvement for them already because they can automate a lot of manual work. But from our perspective, it's not very scalable because for every customer that we onboard, and we have got several of them, we have to do some manual work in deployment. And we've been thinking of the ways on how we do this. So this is a little diagram of how the automation engine, how we call it, works. So we have got the automation. We can authorize a third party, for example, a bot in this case. We can program. We have got the programmatic engine, so we can set those parameters. We can decide on like what conditions the transactions are executed. We can have hooks before or after those transactions are executed, and we have got those safeguards, and then we're connecting protocols on different chains to get the execution on chain. So we're going to be powering up those automations with two things that, the two buzzwords that we mentioned initially. So the first one is intents. So our tasks will get replaced by intents. So instead of having those swappers, bridgers, etc., users will be able to create intents, and those intents will get resolved by solvers. For those who don't know what intents are, so in the traditional way of operating on-chain with a transaction, you have to define both what you want to do with also and how you want to do it. So if you want to swap, let's say, ETH to USDC, you have to first, let's say, ETH on mainnet to USDC on Optimism, you have to first swap it, and then you have to bridge it. So you have to perform two transactions. You have to specify the protocol where you're going to do it. You have to sign a transaction, pay gas, and then you will receive your USDC on another chain. With intents, you only define what, and you don't have to define how. So you say just like, I have got ETH on mainnet, I want to have USDC on Optimism, and I want it like at this price, and I don't care how you're gonna do it, just give me USDC at this price. And then it's a gasless, so you sign an off-chain message, an off-chain intent, and then it gets sent to solvers. So they're like specific companies or protocols that are working on intent-based with intent-based protocols and execute those transactions on your behalf. So they're gasless and they have got their ways of making money on this. So we have got intents. So intents are created and executed by solvers on this smart account, smart wallet that we deploy for our customers. So the last part here is we're replacing relayers with AI agent. So we're going to have AI agents to generate intents, to create those intents based on the prompt that the user will give. So for example, a user can say, okay, buy $10 worth of ETH on mainnet every day using any stablecoin I have. So the bot will, the AI agent will create intents to buy $10 worth of ETH daily with a stablecoin. The AI bot will understand like what sort of stablecoins are there on the market, and if one of those assets are going to be in the wallet, it's going to create an intent that will get executed by solvers. So a user doesn't need to decide like, okay, I have got USDT today, I have got USDC tomorrow, I have to go to this protocol or to that protocol to execute that transaction. You just give this prompt to the agent, and agent will create intents that will get executed by solvers. So it's gasless, it's a much better experience, and it's much better price execution as well, because you don't have to look at through thousands of protocols to find the best price. Solvers will do it for you. So why is this a game changer? So it improves the user experience. So we have got the AI layer. It's going to be an intelligent orchestration layer to automate DeFi tasks into actionable cross-chain intents. Then the intents layer allows us the scalability. This layer will execute intents through the centralized and efficient network of solvers. And we still have got all those safeguards, which is very important, especially when working, when trying to work with the AI, because it will enforce on-chain protection to exclude any unwanted activities on the account. So an AI agent will not be able to perform activities that are, let's say, prohibited or it's not allowed to. So it will not, be able to withdraw funds to any wallet. It will not be able to create, an unwanted intent, because it will only be limited to create the intents that are being prompted. And also, when you want to specify your intention to the AI, it will confirm and show you what sort of intent will be created, and then only then user will have to authorize it. So our goal is to build one platform to automate complex DeFi operations. So we're building, or we have built already a platform where any user will be able to come. They're going to be able to sign up for the account, connect their wallet, deploy their own smart account, or connect the existing one. They're going to have they're going to have the access to the AI agent, and they're going to be able to have the AI automation. They're going to be they still can have a third party to perform transactions on his behalf, because like one thing about the authorization is you can deploy a settlement contract, which is going to be the smart wallet, but you can still authorize a third-party EOA to do certain transactions on behalf of that smart account. So you can have, if you're, for example, treasury manager, you can have your accountant to be able to perform certain transactions on that smart account with the authorization. So we have got the programmation, so you can set the different parameters, you can add hooks, and you still have got those safeguards, and it's all plugged into the DeFi ecosystem through different integrations and decentralized solvers. So here we have got a few examples of like what sort of interactions will be available. So from, simple comments, earn interest on my DAI, swap to ETH for USDC, bridge my USDC to Polygon, etc., to more complex ones like rebalance my portfolio every Monday to maintain a 60-20-20 distribution between USDC, ETH, and wrapped Bitcoin. So in this case, the AI agent will check every day what is the distribution of the assets in the account, and then it will create an intent that will perform specific swaps to achieve that 60-20-20 balance on the account, or automatically stake my Matic on Polygon as soon as my balance exceeds 500 Matic. So if you're receiving some revenues, if you're receiving some stake, some rewards in Matic, whenever you have got more than 500, these will be staked in this case. So yeah, we're going to be able to enable more complex DeFi automation and sequencing of intents with the use of like simple comments. So we've worked with some of the greatest teams in the DeFi ecosystem. These are all our clients that we're working on automations with. Some of them, like, we're using also their technology, and so our initial product is going to be more like a business-to-business product. As we see, there's a lot of space on the treasury management side, on DAOs and different companies to have some of the transactions automated. To date, we have processed over $4 billion in assets on behalf of our customers, executed 18 million transactions. Of them, 227,000 were automated, and we did like 330 million simulations run. So before we execute any transaction on chain, we run simulations to make sure that it meets all the parameters that are set in the environment. And yeah, that's it. One last thing I don't have a slide on that I probably might mention. So the first phase of our product is going to be a B2B platform, and the second is going to be developer platform. So we're going to have an API and SDK for developers to interact with our system. So there's going to be a few ways of integrate with Mimic. So you're going to be able to either, if you're building an application, you're going to be able to allow your users to execute transactions on chain using AI commands. So you're basically going to be able to integrate our infrastructure into your app and give the same features to your users. And secondly, we're going to be allowing any AI agent to have the DeFi execution using our intent and safeguards layer. So if you're building an AI agent that you want to have it for to be trading assets or to performing any on-chain activities, you're going to be able to plug in through the API to our intents layer and then you're gonna just use Mimic as an intent creation and execution layer for your AI agents. And that's it. Thank you very much. Feel free to to ask any questions. We still have got some time. Yes, can we move the mic over there, please?
Hi. Probably I have more questions than the time is allowed here, but like maybe from the top. How do you handle the permission to moving funds for your tasks? You mentioned ERC 437. Although from personal experience and also seeing what's currently in similar solutions, which majority is using permit too, and knowing the caveats of ERC 4337, I'm super curious, how did you manage to get it to work along with your solution?
So a small disclaimer, I run business development. I'm not a developer, so I might not be able to answer those questions on the technical note. However, in the existing infrastructure that we have, on the ERC 437 account, you authorize a relayer to perform transactions on your behalf. So relayer is using those tasks that are programmed to execute the transactions. So each task, as I've mentioned in the beginning, is only can only do one thing. So if you have got a swapper with 1 inch, it will only be able to swap assets in 1 inch. So that's permissive enough that you have got specific tasks to do specific things, and those tasks are specifically programmed. So for example, you can say that only if there is $1,000 of an asset, swap it to USDC, using 1 inch, for example. So this one task is only permitted to do this single activity, this single action, and the relayer can execute it on top of that account. Does that answer your question? I'm happy to connect you with our founders who are all engineers, and maybe they'll answer it better.
Okay. Second question, from like more general like business aspect, maybe this will be easier to answer. Is like one of the like biggest challenges in the cross-chain operations is basically securing liquidity. How did you manage to solve that?
So we're not managing the liquidity ourselves. As I mentioned, we're using solvers. So solvers are those parties that have got integrated different liquidity sources, from DEXs to private market makers, AMMs. Some of them have got centralized liquidity as well. So basically, how the usually solvers market works, they receive an intent and they bid for it. And whoever offers the best price, they get the execution. So we don't have to, like, we ourselves are a solver as well to some extent, and we're plugged into various DEX aggregators. But basically, we're outsourcing this to solvers for the liquidity.
Okay, last question, giving chance to others.
No, that's fine.
To ask. What auction system are you using for solvers, and how many solvers you have currently integrated with your system?
So at the moment, we're just a solver ourselves. We don't have a solver system. So this is something we're building at the moment. So today we are, as I've mentioned, we're fairly centralized in the sense that everything is run through Mimic. In the next iteration with the intents, we're going to be building it. So happy to discuss it in a couple of months. Thank you.
Yeah, so many of us here are developers and using AI to write code, to do many kinds of automations. And we all know that if you use AI, then 9 out of 10 times you get a good answer. And there is also this 10% where the AI does something stupid and it's not even easy to see. So when I think now about automating on-chain trades with AI, so there is this risk that, well, the AI does something stupid. And yeah, I know that you mentioned about the safeguard, but then there is this trade-off, like how much manual manual safety precautions you do versus how much automation do you really get from this AI? This is like the question. How do you approach that?
So first of all, like we're going to be training our own AI agents. So we're going to feed it with a lot of, prompts, with a lot of information on how DeFi intents can be structured. Like our developers been in this space for over 10 years. So they've worked in a lot of DeFi protocols. So hopefully, we're going to be able to train our own agent specifically for this. But from the manual perspective, when a user writes a prompt, they will still have to confirm. So the bot will, the AI agent will return saying, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So I'm going to swap 10 USDC into ETH every day at this time for whatever the price is using stablecoins. And the user will need to confirm that this is the intent that he wanted. So that's first, I would say, manual safeguard. And then at the end of the day, we're probably not going to be able to eliminate all of the issues, all of the mistakes that can be done. But yeah, this is definitely something. This is still ahead of us. So I don't have the right answer on how we're going to resolve it. But these are the first thing that we have discussed already. In terms of the securing and the safeguards we have got on the smart account. So a user will be able to say, for example, if you're not trading a lot, you only do small amounts, you can have a limit that the AI agent will not be able to create an intent that's higher than $500 worth. So no matter what you're gonna put in the prompt, the bot will not create an intent higher than this amount. So you can add all those safeguards, and the initial setup of the once you sign up for an account, your initial setup is going to be, okay, set those safeguards first. So then the bot knows what he cannot do, and then you will only be able to do stuff within the boundaries that you're going to set. Thank you. Any other questions?
Anybody else have any questions?
So maybe it looks a little bit in a previous question, but why don't you offer it also to the public? Is it to?
We will offer it to the so the public is, let's say, the stage number 3. So stage number 1 is B2B. We are in the B2B business already. We have been in for 3 years. Our customers are protocols, applications. So it's just like a natural evolution for us because we're not reinventing everything that we're doing. We are doing custom automations already. We're just exchanging some pieces to get more efficiency, to get easier, better user experience. But that's why we're starting with B2B, because this is where we are today. Next is going to be developers, because we believe that, we need to open it up for other applications to either integrate, this AI intents DeFi operations, or deploy their own AI agents and use our execution with intents layer. And then the third phase is going to be open it to the public. But being a startup, building a product that's B2C, involves a lot of other factors like, community building, token, and all the other factors that we want to postpone to the later stage. So yeah, definitely we have got in the roadmap to open it to the public. At the end of the day, as it's been mentioned in our, I think in the mission statement, first slide, want simple and secure tools to enhance efficiency and automations and centralized finance operations, and that's across the board. We want to offer it to everyone, but we're going to be doing it gradually.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. If there's no more questions, thank you very much for being here.